Hello, good morning everybody. I hope you can see my screen. This is GBP/USD we are currently looking at. So whatever I'm having on my chart, this is an indicator. It is MACD, and I'm going to use it today to try and explain exactly what to expect to happen on this chart. So how this works is there are like two lines. We have there are these green lines. These are called the columns of MACD, and then you also have the red line, which is this is the signal line. So, and then there's another one, which is this. There's an invisible line, which is 00. It's marked here. So how it works is this: anytime the columns of MACD are above 00, it means that the price is continuing to the upper side. So when this happens, that the columns of MACD begin to appear above 00, you wait for the signal line to also rise above 00 so that you can buy it. And the same thing is true when the columns of MACD are below 00. You wait for the signal line, which is the red thick line, to go below 00 so that you can look for a sell. As it is at the moment, we are looking for a buy. There's a very good trend line which has been formed here. This should be a good place to buy from. A support, a support, a support, and if we check on the upper side, we have the same thing. We have this as a resistance, a resistance, a resistance. But we basically just want price to come back up to this level so that we are able to sell it from that point to the lower side. As it is at the moment, a move like this, the price may likely break above this level. We are likely to see a rise beyond the trend line and then a retracement, so that we are focusing on a buy only to the upper side. And the reason I'm focusing on a buy on this one is because the indicator itself is actually showing us a buy. So there is no point for looking for a sell if the indicator is showing you a buy. That's why I'm ignoring the sell. In case the price bounces off from this level, I'm not going to look for that sell. But if price breaks above the level, the trend line, then that's a good sign that we are continuing to the upper side. So the best you should be doing actually is to look for a buy upon that breakout. Or if price can retrace back to the lower trend line, then those are the only two places to look for a trade from. A break above so that you buy it, or a retracement back to the same trend line so that you can look for a buy at the lowest risk possible. And on the other side, if price successfully goes below this trend line, then that could mean you're continuing to the lower side. So you need to look for sell positions. You need to look for sell orders, and that sell order should be pushing us up to this level, which is this. So as I was saying, this is a good buy, but wait for price to do as I've mentioned. So we move straight to our next chart, and that should be Euro USD. This is how the chart itself looks. So this is the same thing here. The same thing which you are seeing on GBP USD is actually the same thing which is somehow happening here. On the upper side, we have this. The first thing which I'm seeing is this, and then you're also seeing this. Yeah, this was some very good shape. So you ought to have been selling. Anytime the price approaches this resistance, you sell. Supposed to be selling, is supposed to be selling. And also from the lower side, you could have bought, you could have bought, you could have bought. This one which has gone wrong. As we are speaking now, the same thing is happening. This is a very good trend line. So technically, this could be a very good place to sell from. Where the price is now would be a very good place to sell from, especially if price attempts to break above it but does not close beyond this line. If that is true, that instead of price closing above this level, it actually closes below, then that will be a very good sell place, and we expect this to happen. So the main reason I'm focusing on a sell so much is because the indicator somehow is also showing us some signs for a sell. There is this. So only if price breaks beyond this level with a big candle that will be focusing on a buy. If price goes beyond this trend line and breaks perfectly above it, then we'll wait for retracement before we can buy it up to this level, the red line which I've marked here. But as it is, we are focusing on a sell despite the fact that the price has moved massively to the upper side. As long as we are being held below this trend line, we are actually looking for a sell. The next chart, USD JPY. So on this chart, somehow the indicator is showing us a buy. You can see the signal line and the columns of MACD are beyond 00. And we had our level here, a resistance. We also had another level there, a support. Then we mentioned that as long as the price does not go beyond this level, which is this, we are looking for a sell. And on this chart, there's a shape which is being formed here. These are some of the few things you need to look at. Don't just ignore these shapes. They can tell you perfectly what is happening. So this is like a consolidation in between some shape. If price breaks beyond, then there's this still to be broken. And if price breaks below, then we expect that break to push price even lower up to this support, which is 105.189. So technically, if price can break below, we'll wait for retracement so that we sell it down. And if price breaks above, we'll wait for retracement but only be able to buy up to this resistance. So one thing which I want to mention is that this pair USD/JPY actually moves in the same direction with SP500 of late. So if you'll be looking for a sell when it breaks above that trend line, also be sure to look for sell positions on SP500 because both of them are the same thing. They are moving almost in the same direction. So if you pick a buy on one, be sure to pick a buy on the next one. And if you pick a sell on another one, just also pick a sell on the next one. So you can do that blindly. You can do, for now, you can do that because they're somehow moving in the same, perfectly in the same direction. If you pick a trade, be sure to pick it on the next one. So we move forward to SP500 itself so that we are able to see. This is what SP500 is saying. We have the same resistance which we were looking at on USD/JPY. This is that resistance. And then we also had this support here. Somehow the price is heading to the upper side. So technically, price needs to come back up to this retracement, this level here. If this is a good support, price needs to come back up to that support before it can proceed to the upper side. Price needs to come back up to the support. Let price bounce off from this level, then we'll expect it to move down up to this level before you can pick a buy towards the same level which you sold from. So this one, that sell only holds as long as the price remains below this resistance. Just notice for the past, this is 2 weeks, 1, 2, and this is the current weeks. The price has not been able to break beyond this resistance. So if price can break above it this week, then that will confirm that we are continuing to the upper side. Therefore, you need to look for buy positions even higher to the upper side. So we move forward, we move to our next symbol, and that should be Brent oil. Brent oil, so far, we still have our level here. I'm going to delete this, we are not using them. So if you check the indicator which I'm having on my screen, the indicator is actually showing us that the price should be moving upwards. We are in an uptrend. This is what the indicator is showing us. From this point, you can see the green line above, and the red line has also gone beyond 00. So that means from this point here, we had a confirmed buy. The price was supposed to move upwards immediately. So far, that's what has been happening. The price continues to move up. We are moving upwards. And then the same level. You can see from the past a resistance, resistance, a resistance. There's a break below. This was a support, a support, a support. There's a break below, a resistance, and if price comes back to the same level, we'll basically, because the indicator showing us a buy, we'll basically ignore that sell and wait for a break above so that you can buy in the direction of the trend. So whatever we're looking at below is actually a MACD oscillator. It's not a trend indicator, but it's called MACD oscillator. You can use it to understand exactly the direction, whatever is happening. So we have this level here, and then we have another line on top. These are the key resistance. On this chart, we are only focusing on this level, so a break above this level so that you buy it, or a break above this level so that you can continue buying it even higher. So these are the levels. So we move forward to our last symbol, and that should be, sorry, these are done a lot of lines on my screen, but that's okay. I'm just clearing so that you're able to see exactly the level which I'm talking about. This is a very good place where we look for a trade from. If price goes beyond it, then that will be a good place where we want to trade from. So we move forward to our next symbol, and that should be the last one, which is gold. So far, gold is supposed to continue upwards based on what we looked at some few days ago, but the indicator, as you can see, I've actually switched to the lower side. The columns of MACD and the signal lines are actually below 00. So this could actually mean the price is heading to the lower side. But there's something. We have this, and then we also have this. Okay. So this is like some shape, and what a shape means is either the price is reversing or is continuing to the upper side. So if price goes beyond this shape, that is, if it breaks above that the upper trend line, we'll basically be waiting for a retracement before we can buy it even higher. This is on the upper side. But if price breaks below, then we'll just wait for retracement so that we can continue selling it even lower. This is what we'll be waiting for, either for price to break above so that you can buy it, or to break below so that you can continue selling it even further to the lower side. So this is what we expect here. For price to break below so that we continue selling it, or for price to break above so that we buy it even higher to the upper side. So thank you very much. That should bring us to the end of today's market overview. We meet again tomorrow at the same time. Thank you.